Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping how businesses operate across Europe. Specifically, we're looking at AI customer service automation for businesses in Den Haag and the broader Netherlands. Sam, you've been digging into this topic. What's the headline here?
The headline is simple. We're watching a massive shift from old-school rule-based chatbots to what we call agentic AI systems. These aren't your grandmother's chatbots, Alex. We're talking about autonomous agents that can actually think, access real-time data, and resolve customer problems end-to-end without waiting for a human to step in. For Den Haag Businesses, this is huge.
Okay, so what's the difference? I think a lot of listeners might assume a chatbot is a chatbot. Why are agentic systems actually different?
Traditional chatbots are basically fancy lookup tables. You ask them something, they match keywords, they follow a script. The moment you ask something slightly off the beaten path, they panic and transfer you to a human. Agentic chatbots use large language models combined with reasoning engines. They understand context. They can look up your order history in real time, check inventory, apply refund policies, and actually execute the solution. All in milliseconds. No script required.
That's a fundamental difference. So if I'm a Den Hogg e-commerce company and a customer calls with a tricky order issue, the agentic system doesn't just understand the problem, it actually fixes it?
Exactly. It pulls your order history, checks what's in stock, applies the right policies, issues a refund if needed, schedules a replacement, sends a confirmation email, all without asking a human permission. And here's the kicker. It only escalates to a person if it genuinely needs to. That's where the cost savings come in.
Let's talk numbers, because I'm guessing the ROI here is compelling, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
The data is striking. According to Gartner's 2024 research, organizations in Northern Europe that made this transition reduced customer support costs by 35 to 40% in just the first year. At the same time, customer satisfaction actually went up by 22%. That's not cutting costs at the expense of quality, it's winning on both fronts.
And Den Hogg specifically, is this something we're already seeing happen there, or is this more of a forward-looking opportunity?
It's both. Den Hogg has over 2,800 tech and IT service companies. The city's an administrative and financial hub, so there's huge demand from banks, logistics firms, legal services, sectors where you can't afford mistakes and compliance matters. A 2024 KVK survey found that 64% of mid-market Den Hogg companies identified customer service automation as a top 3 investment priority. And here's what's wild. 72% of Dutch enterprises are planning to adopt agentic AI for customer service by 2026.
That's adoption at scale. But I want to push back on something. There's got to be a compliance angle here, right? We're in the EU. There's the AI Act. Surely that's creating friction.
Actually, and this is important, the EU AI Act is creating an opportunity for Den Haag businesses, not just a burden. The EU AI Act becomes fully enforceable in 2026, and it sets strict rules around transparency, bias, and human oversight. Most vendors globally are scrambling to comply, but Den Haag, being right next to EU regulatory bodies and with the Dutch government leading on AI governance, has businesses that understand these rules already. Companies like Etherbot are building solutions that are compliant from the ground up.
So compliance becomes a competitive advantage rather than a barrier.
Exactly. A Den Haag financial services firm that implements a compliant agentic chatbot isn't just saving money, they're future-proofing themselves. They're also building customer trust. When you tell a customer that your AI system is transparent, auditable, and designed with human oversight built in, that matters, especially in industries like banking and legal services.
Let's get practical. If I'm running a mid-sized company in Den Haag right now and I want to implement this, what does that actually look like? Do I need to rip out my existing customer service infrastructure?
Not at all. The beauty of modern agentic chatbot platforms is that they integrate with what you already have, your CRM system, your ticketing system, your databases. The implementation isn't rip and replace, it's plug in and extend. You're adding a smart layer on top of your existing operations that handles the easy stuff autonomously and funnels the complex cases to your team with full context.
That's important because change management is real. You're not asking your customer service team to disappear. You're asking them to focus on higher value work.
Right. And here's what the data shows. When companies make this transition properly, customer response times drop from 2 to 3 hours down to under 2 minutes. Your team goes from handling 50 tickets a day to handling maybe 20. But those 20 are genuinely complex, relationship-critical cases where a human touch matters. Your team gets more satisfied. Customers get faster resolutions. That's a win-win.
You mentioned ROI earlier. Can you give us some concrete numbers for a typical Den Hogg business?
The KVK survey data is pretty clear. 280% ROI within 18 months for companies that implemented AI chatbots properly. Let's say you're a logistics company with 200 employees and handling 1,000 customer inquiries daily. You're probably spending 300,000 to 400,000 euros annually on customer support staff. If you deploy an Agentic system that autonomously resolves 60% of those inquiries, you're looking at 180,000 to 240,000 in annual savings. Add in the efficiency gains, faster response times, fewer escalations, and you're easily clearing 280% ROI.
That's significant. So beyond the pure ROI, what else should Den Hogg businesses be thinking about when they consider this move?
3 things. First, data quality matters. Agentic systems are only as good as the data they have access to. If your CRM is a mess, your Agentic chatbot will be a mess. Second, you need a change management plan. Your staff needs training. Your customers need to understand they're dealing with AI, which is a transparency and trust issue. Third, compliance, but I'd frame that as a positive. The businesses that build compliance in from day one aren't scrambling in 2026.
Let me ask you this. Is this just for big enterprises, or can smaller Den Hogg businesses benefit from this too?
Smaller companies actually have an advantage. They're more agile. They don't have 50 legacy systems to integrate. A 50-person startup in Den Hogg can implement Agentic customer service faster than a 500-person firm. The platforms are cloud-based, often SaaS, so there's no massive capital expenditure. You pay per conversation, or you pay a monthly fee. That's accessible to almost any business.
What about the sectors we're seeing lead adoption in Den Hogg? You mentioned financial services and logistics. Are there others?
Financial services and logistics are leading at 81% adoption rates, but tech services, e-commerce, and real estate are all moving fast. Anywhere you have high customer inquiry volume and you need compliance, which is basically every sector in Den Hogg, this applies. Even municipal government is exploring it, which tells you something about the maturity of the technology.
That's a good indicator. Sam, last question. What's the single biggest mistake you see companies make when they try to implement Agentic customer service?
Thinking it's just a technology problem. They buy the platform and expect magic. But Agentic chatbots are only 30% technology. The other 70% is process design, data quality, staff training, and governance. Companies that win are the ones that treat it as a transformation initiative, not a software purchase.
That's great advice. So to wrap up, Den Hogg businesses are sitting at an inflection point. Agentic AI customer service systems are mature, they're compliant with EU standards, and the ROI is proven. The adoption curve is steep, and the competitive advantage goes to the early movers. For our listeners who want to dig deeper, case studies, implementation frameworks, compliance best practices, you'll find the full article on EtherLink AI. Thanks for the insights, Sam.
Thanks, Alex. Great conversation. And to Den Hogg business leaders listening, this isn't theoretical anymore. Your competitors are moving. The time to explore this is now.
That's all for this episode of EtherLink AI Insights. We'll be back soon with more on the future of AI and enterprise operations. Until then, thanks for listening.